let's start off at number 10 with Sniper Wolf. Do we actually go I don't know, she spells Sniper Wolf with like so many S's. For now, we'll just call her just Sniper Wolf. Well, she tweeted out this picture of herself. This was her mugshot. This picture was from 2016 when Sniper Wolf got arrested for disorderly conduct. So let me explain what happened. According to Sniper Wolf, she said that her and her boyfriend, well, her boyfriend at the time, Sausage, I don't know what kind of name that is, but he had an image on his phone of another girl, and Sniper Wolf wanted to see what was on his phone. He wouldn't give it to her, so that's when she decided to scream on the top of her lungs. And that's when neighbors heard her yell. When the police showed up, Sniper Wolf wasn't talking to the police. Instead, she tried to go upstairs in her own home. Both police blocked her, they stopped her, they arrested her. They arrested her for disorderly conduct because she wasn't talking to the police. But Sniper Wolf thought she didn't have to talk to police because the whole you have the right to remain silent. But that law takes effect when you're actually getting arrested. If police have questions about a potential what people think is to be a domestic violence, I think you should be answering the police's questions. If not, then yeah, I would take you into custody because I got questions for you.
So stupid. I hate my life right now. They handcuffed us in the house, took us outside, put me in one cop car, put Sausage in another cop car, and they took us down to the station.
Sniper Wolf was kept in a holding cell with another woman. It seems like Sniper Wolf was in jail for just a few days until she had to appear in front of a judge. The judge determines whether or not she gets bail, if she can be released right away, and Sniper Wolf's so lucky she was able to just be released right away. No bail, no nothing.
Coming in number 9, we have Jesse Sebastiani, one of the kings of the prank world, one of the faces of the Nelk Boys, and someone who grew up right here in Ontario. Jesse Sebastiani got arrested in Ohio when someone took his prank a little too seriously. He dressed up in a white jumpsuit and walked into a bookstore and asked the person at the counter if they had any books on how to cover up a murder. The only thing is, the jumpsuit was covered in fake blood. Obviously, this would seem so ridiculous that no one could take it seriously. If you were working at the bookstore, you would probably just say no and let the person walk out of the store, but it would seem that someone watching the prank unfold was freaked out by this display and called the cops. Police rushed to the scene and arrested Jesse, even after it was made clear that the entire thing was a prank. It would seem that one of YouTube's finest might end up in jail, but when push came to shove, everything was brought in front of a judge, and he thought the whole thing was funny and suspended the charges. I mean, it can't really go better than that. You're about to get sentenced and then you find out the judge is a fan.
It's hilarious. From Ontario? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Up next, number 8, we have Cameron Dallas. The social media star was arrested by police in Colorado back in 2019 after an alleged assault happened at a hotel. On New Year's Eve in 2019, around 5 a.m., an ambulance was called to the Hyatt Residence's Grand Aspen Hotel where a man was bleeding from facial injuries. Turns out the injuries came from Dallas, and he was arrested on a charge of second-degree assault, which is a felony, police said. But he posted a $5,000 bond and was later released. The strange part about his mugshot was that he was also smiling in it. He looks completely unbothered, but he also posted it on his Twitter account for his fans to see. On top of that, he captioned it with this: "Unfortunately, sometimes in life you find yourself in a situation where you have to protect yourself and the people you care about. Have a safe and happy new year. 2019 is going to be an amazing one." He ended up accepting a deal and pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct and a lower level misdemeanor charge. Can't say I would ever expect someone to tweet out their own mugshot as like a Happy New Year post.
Coming in number 7, we have Tana Mongeau. We all like to party, and sometimes you're not willing to wait until it's legal. Tana Mongeau would get arrested for underage drinking. Oh my god, how old was she? Was she 14? Was she 16? No, she was actually 20 when this all happened. Which, if you were in any other country, would be fine, but in the United States, it's a big no-no. That's pretty wild. I think in the United States you can buy a gun before you can drink, which seems kind of backwards if you think about it. Wouldn't you want people to be able to handle their booze before they can handle a gun? But how did Tana get sucked into this bad situation? Well, it turns out she was at Coachella and she went to the bar to get some Red Bulls. See, you're allowed to buy chemical garbage that'll get you jacked up on caffeine, but not booze. And when she got there with her friends, the bartender said she was a fan of Tana and she would give her whatever drink she wanted. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal. Even if you're not supposed to do something like that, if someone offers you something for free, you usually want to take it. Well, Tana did, but it turns out that there was a squad of undercover cops waiting to arrest her. Honestly, this sounds like entrapment if you ask me. Shouldn't the bartender get arrested? Well, Tana was charged, then released when she posted bail.
Not surprised to see her on this list.
No, not
Clever,
at all.
though. Moving on to number 6, we have Steve-O. I don't think anyone is surprised to hear that he was arrested at one point in his career. After being one of the members of the Jackass movies, it was bound to happen that some of his ridiculous behavior would eventually catch up to him. In 2015, he was arrested in LA after climbing a crane above Sunset Boulevard, holding an inflatable Shamu balloon with the words, "SeaWorld sucks." He climbed the crane to protest against SeaWorld and set off fireworks from the crane. Once he climbed back down, he was arrested on 5 charges: creating a false emergency, unregistered fireworks, possession of fireworks without a permit, and trespassing. He was sentenced to jail for 30 days after pleading no contest, but was released after just 8 hours. Turns out this was not his first mugshot though. He actually tweeted out one of his drunk mugshots from when he was 20 years old, and not gonna lie, it definitely beats the SeaWorld one. Back in 2018, he tweeted, "I declare today National Drunk Mugshot Day. Post 'em if you got 'em."
Right on. I like that vibe. Coming in number 5, we have Bryce Hall. Here's the thing, when people get famous, they might get into a little bit of drug use. That's something that can happen from time to time. Sometimes it's something horrible that ruins a person's life, and other times it's just a little bit of cannabis, which is illegal in the US, but if you were up here in Canada, it's okay. But if you were Bryce Hall in Canada, you would still be in trouble with the amount of cannabis that was found on his person. This dude was arrested with nearly 2 ounces on him, and this was in Texas. I don't know exactly what the rules are for having weed on your person when you're in Texas, other than it's not allowed. So Bryce and his buddy Jaden Hostler were both arrested and posted bail for $11,000.
All for some weed.
All for some weed. Better be good.
Taking the number 4 spot is JStation. The YouTube celebrity caused a storm online after pretending that his girlfriend had been killed as some kind of clickbait. He posted a video of him crying and saying his girlfriend was killed by a drunk driver, and he even filmed a video of him at her memorial, which fans later learned was all set up. He went to great lengths to receive views, even attempting to use a Ouija board to get in contact with her. But the truth came out and she was never dead. In fact, they weren't even dating anymore, and she accused him of assault. He later confessed to faking the death for views and was arrested on the charge of assault and was charged with assault and assault with a weapon, according to a statement from Toronto police. Now, his mugshot is insane, mainly because the story behind it. I mean, how do you justify faking your girlfriend's death and setting up a fake memorial for it? His mugshot photo isn't anything too out of the ordinary, although he does look extremely concerned in it, almost like a deer in headlights.
Coming in at number 3, we have Sniper Wolf. I didn't know who Sniper Wolf was before making this video, and I have to say I am disappointed. She is neither a sniper nor a wolf. I was hoping that it was going to be a sick wolf that knew how to use a sniper and was in the Russian military, but I have to say I'm not disappointed with the reason that she has a mugshot. She was arrested in 2013 for armed robbery. What? This lady's like John Dillinger robbing banks and running away with the goods? Well, it turns out that it isn't that crazy. She went to steal something from a store and then smacked a security guard on the way out when he tried to stop her. But wait, there's more. In 2016, she was arrested again for disorderly conduct when she got into an argument with her boyfriend in public, but the charges were dropped and she was able to return to making content that is neither about a sniper nor a wolf.
Rolling into number 2, we have Charles Ross. The YouTuber has a history of arrests for his pranks, and one of his mugshots stands out among the rest. His last arrest was in 2019 for one of his prank videos where he pretended to be a police officer. In his prank, he approached a woman who parked her car at Steak and Shake with her 2 children, and he handed her a ticket. She believed him at first since he was wearing an entire police uniform, but then she got aggravated when she checked and saw that she was not parked illegally. She got really upset, so he eventually told her it was a prank and offered her concert tickets to not call the cops, but she did anyways. It actually wasn't this mugshot that stands out to me. It was one from back in 2013 when he was charged for disorderly conduct after jumping over deputies on a picnic table. The story behind it is far less interesting, but his mugshot is legendary. He is rocking Princess Leia buns, or Miley Cyrus buns, depending which generation you are from.
Princess Leia buns for me.
Ooh, Miley for me.
Really?
Well, when I saw it, I was like Miley Cyrus, but I'm like, most people would be like Princess Leia.
Of course, of course. And coming in the #1 spot, we have Belle Delphine, the internet sensation that blew up huge off of a single TikTok and then continued to troll people and build up a simp nation that was so huge they would never stop following her, even when her nearly 5 million follower Instagram account got deleted. Belle Delphine is known for some of the weirdest content on the internet and selling her own bathwater. I have no idea if that is legal, but that's not the reason she's on today's list. She didn't get arrested for selling something so disgusting it sounds like it would be a challenge on Fear Factor. No, she actually went to prison for vandalizing someone's property. Belle Delphine had a very serious disagreement with her friend. She accused her friend of stealing her hamster, which is a very strange thing to take from someone, but I would understand why you would want it back. Well, Belle Delphine's friend said that she didn't steal it, and then there was a back and forth that eventually escalated to Belle Delphine vandalizing her friend's car with spray paint. This got her locked up in the big house.
All for a gerbil.
All for a gerbil, baby.
Starting off this countdown, we have Reset. Reset, otherwise known as Kengo Ren, had his YouTube shut down in 2019 for posting a very controversial and disturbing video. So he decided it was a good idea to fill an Oreo cookie with toothpaste and then give it to a homeless man. He filmed this whole thing, including catching the man vomiting after. During the video, he made rude comments like, "This will help clean his teeth," and "I don't think he has cleaned them since he became poor." This little prank actually got him sentenced to 15 months in prison, and he was ordered to pay his victim $22,000 in moral damages. He also can't use YouTube or any other social media platform for 5 years. At one point, he was under house arrest while the case was being debated.
#9 is Nelk Films.
Basically, he's going to be held in jail for the night, and then it's up to the judge to decide if he wants to be let out by a bond or if he's going to be kept in, depending on how bad the misdemeanor is.
So Nelk Films started on YouTube years ago, and fun fact for you guys, Nelk is now Jesse and Kyle, but it used to be other people back then. It was Kyle, it was these twins, and I actually brought them into my studio before they really got into YouTube, and I really tried to push them into this like YouTube direction because I saw something going on there. So I used to talk to them all the time, and I did tell them be careful with these pranks, but I guess they took things to the next level, and they're now finding themselves in trouble. I think Nelk Films are great. They do amazing pranks, and if they didn't do these like next level pranks, they may not have been as big or as famous as they are now. But they're finding themselves in a lot of trouble. Well, in this case, it's Jesse. It's hard to determine what prank got Jesse arrested, but from what I was able to gather, he was walking around with a fake bloody hoodie, and he was dragging around a bloody shovel in a store trying to scare people. Jesse has since been released from prison, but now he has a long road ahead of him with court and legal issues. Well, he had this to say. "We have to say that the Columbus police handled the situation very well. We understand the situation could have been potentially life-threatening for us, as well for them. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens to the Nelk Boys, but best of luck to them." At #8, we're talking about a Spanish YouTuber, Kengo Ren, and he decided to play a prank on a homeless man by giving him an Oreo-filled toothpaste. After the homeless man ate the Oreo that was filled with toothpaste, he actually got very sick and he started to throw up. The police was called and the Spanish YouTuber was arrested. Prosecutors are seeking $37,000 in compensation because the homeless man was humiliated, and it got him very sick. Also, they want him to face 2 years behind bars. So this was his reaction to this. Maybe I've gone a bit too far, but look at the positive side. This will help him clean his teeth. I think he hasn't cleaned his teeth since before he became poor. Is this real life right now? This is probably one of the most insensitive thing I've ever heard. But I think a jail sentence, like a 2-year jail sentence for this, is just way too extreme. Like, come on. What do you guys think? #7. Okay, that looks very dangerous. Well, this video is uploaded onto the Rocco Piazza Vlogs channel. It's about this 10-year-old kid who lives a crazy life in Corona, California. Well, his parents help him with his videos from time to time. And that prank you just saw, well, that prank got his mom arrested for child endangerment. For some reason, the video is still allowed to be on this channel, and it has almost 5 million views at the time of this recording. When Corona police saw this video, they arrested 45-year-old Holly Piazza and her fiance, 37-year-old Brian Chase. Moving on to number 6, number 6 is just so stupid. This right here is 22-year-old Dylan Birch, who decided to play a prank on Disneyland. He thought it would be so funny to tell Disney that there's an active shooter in the park. The park went into a state of emergency. Obviously the police didn't think that this was a funny prank, so he was arrested, and in front of a judge he pleaded guilty to a charge of disturbing the peace and disorderly intoxication charges as well. So he was quickly caught and sent to jail.
Only on 6 tonight, we are learning about a scare at Disney. A young man warning people at the Contemporary Resort that an active shooter was on the loose.
He told deputies he was joking.
Number 5.
Whose YouTube videos have made him a star is under arrest, accused of using his fame to
a young YouTube celebrity has been arrested along with his manager.
Steven Fernandez of Compton used his own celebrity to. Authorities began their investigation of Fernandez.
So yeah, we're talking about 15-year-old, well at the time, Steven Fernandez, who was arrested after cops found out that he's been using his celebrity status to sexually exploit an underage girl. Law enforcement also said that Fernandez met a 12-year-old girl in his hometown of Compton last month and allegedly promised he'd introduce her to big-name celebrities in exchange for sexual acts. The girl agreed and a sexual act was committed. This kid got famous after he started a movie. He started to gain popularity on YouTube. Apparently Steven's manager might have been involved as well, and everyone on his team was arrested. They all went to jail. This case is still ongoing. Steven Fernandez says he's out of jail as of right now, and he has now denied the claims after a few years after this whole incident started, and he's finally talking about what happened. He said that his manager might have actually been the one messaging this girl, and it wasn't him.
Well, he was my guardian. Thinking about this girl, I mean, she was 12 years old, and for my manager to be accused of this, it was like real gnarly. Like this guy is like 20-something years old.
Moving on to number 4, we have Roman Atwood. He found himself in some trouble after a prank he did back in 2014.
Somebody called in saying that you guys were breaking into an ATM.
Sorry, it's our ATM. We just bought
your ATM.
We own it. Fake cash.
So the prank Roman Atwood and his team set up was, well, they were pretending to break into an ATM, but people took notice and called the police because this is a normal thing that people would do. The police were pretty pissed off that they were called to a fake prank. They were saying that this prank could have put their lives at risk.
You're putting our lives at risk, and you're putting other people's lives at risk because we're running our lights and sirens trying to get here because we think somebody's trying to rob us.
I understand.
Also, pranks like this, it's just such a waste of time. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. It costs so much when you have to send these police officers into action, and this isn't a reason why we need police officers. And because this was a pretty big deal, I mean, stealing money in an ATM, there could have been a lot of money in there. There was actually helicopters as well to just make sure that there was a visual on the suspects and to make sure that they were captured.
Wow.
Vitaly was also part of this prank. They used to do pranks together back in the day.
Looks like they're not happy. Looks like we might be going to jail.
It's so much for nice cops. We're either all going to jail. Chase won't. Will because we were in the act.
So the police officers took everyone's camera, the SD cards, because now everything will be used as evidence. So in the end, Roman Atwood was arrested, so was most of his team, anyone who was involved with a fake robbery. And speaking about Vitaly, he actually found himself arrested many times, so you know what? Vitaly's up next at number 3. Let's talk about one of his craziest illegal stunts. Vitaly decided to go streaking during the World Series. This is one of the most televised events on TV. Well, Vitaly decided to take off all of his clothes and to go streaking during the World Cup Finals. Vitaly also went streaking during an NBA Finals game.
This is it.
I remember when that happened, and it's so insane. And you know what? Let's not forget the time that he streaked during the World Series back in 2017. I mean, come on, keep your clothes on. Vitaly's actually quite fast and it looked hard to catch him. Well, he said he gets a high from doing all of this. He loves danger and getting into situations like this. He has been arrested many times, and shrieking is a felony. For the first time offenders, it's usually a misdemeanor. After that, you could be sentenced of up to 6 months in jail in order to pay a fine of $1,000. But this guy has shrieked so many times, so he keeps serving jail time. It's like it doesn't faze him. And actually, at number 2, I wanted to show you guys another prank he did that was absolutely insane. So Vitaly is appearing for the second time on this list. Well, what he did, it became global news.
We begin with breaking news. A man has climbed the Hollywood sign. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. We've seen him waving a white flag that says, "I'm back." There it is.
This was how Vitaly wanted to return back to YouTube after he stepped away from YouTube for a while. This guy caused such a stir. There was so many LAPD helicopters flying around, so many news helicopters flying around, making sure that they had a visual on Vitaly and they wanted to capture the whole moment. They weren't sure how dangerous he was. They didn't know who he was at the time. I mean, for someone to do something crazy like he did, you just never know what they're doing, their state of mind, they might have a weapon.
Back to our breaking news. A man believed to be a YouTube prankster has climbed the Hollywood sign.
Tim Lynn monitoring the situation overhead in Sky 5. Tim.
Is this real life right now? There are so many helicopters. I would be freaking out. I would be shaking. Like, I just couldn't do something like that. Vitaly always regarded himself as a villain, and this is what he said before going to jail.
Villains missed me. They really missed me, the villains. And I have to show them who is back. Natural born pranksters. Nothing can stop us.
It just seems like this guy is always in a ton of legal problems. Finally, number 1, we have Austin Jones.
Hi guys. I know a lot of you probably have some really harsh and negative opinions towards me right now, and I understand why you do. But I'm asking you to please put those opinions aside for a few minutes and listen to everything I have to say.
Austin Jones was arrested after investigators found out that he's been communicating with underage female fans. Austin Jones admitted to everything. So he was on Facebook to have sexually explicit chats with the girls. He told the underage girls to make videos of themselves dancing in a sexually explicit way and instructed them to perform sexual acts knowing that they're just 14 and 15 years old. He actually wanted them to say their age in these videos. He then requested that these vulnerable girls send him the videos, and he has confirmed that he did receive some of these videos and he watched them while masturbating to them. I mean, this is just sickening. Austin Jones could face up to 30 years in prison and he's banned from the internet. He was becoming a big YouTuber and he took advantage of his fans in a very sick way.
Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Vitaly. The YouTube star is known for his pranks and viral PR stunts like streaking at sports games, and being arrested has not been a one-time thing for him. But his latest arrest in April 2020 was more serious than a prank video. He was actually arrested for allegedly assaulting a woman in Miami Beach. The woman, named Lily Jensen, came forward and told the cops she was jogging when he jumped out and tackled her and then proceeded to beat her. The photographs of her injuries were obtained by TMZ but are too graphic to show on here, so you will have to Google that. Her right eye and eyeball were bloody, her face was badly bruised and swollen, and she even required some stitches. He was facing a criminal charge of felony aggravated battery for the incident, but you would never tell by looking at his mugshot. He literally looks as happy as ever. He has a huge smile on his face as if you just told him good news. On top of the felony charge, he's also facing a lawsuit from the victim, who is suing him for battery, assault, and infliction of emotional distress, claiming she was ambushed without provocation. Not the kind of mugshot that you would expect to see of someone who is facing serious charges like this. He honestly posed like he was taking a school picture. In our 9th spot, we have Jake Paul. And a couple of months ago, the FBI raided Jake Paul's mansion and everyone was shocked. What was this YouTube star hiding? Police were captured carrying out several guns from his place. Apparently, it had to do with the looting that took place during the George Floyd riots. As this was happening, rumor has it that Paul was under house arrest for a couple of days, probably to keep him out of the way while police and investigators did their thing. In our 8th spot, we have Ruslan Sokolovsky. This YouTuber was jailed after filming himself playing Pokemon Go in a church in Russia. The video was uploaded to YouTube and a few weeks later he was arrested. The video was said to be a crime because it's offensive to the people that worship the church. And in fact, apparently there's a law that limits free speech in religious places. So he violated that law by questioning the existence of Jesus Jesus and the Prophet Muhammad, which he did in his YouTube video. For now, he is being kept under house arrest. He's not allowed to leave the house or use his phone or the internet, and he may be facing up to 5 years in prison for this. Moving on, number 7, we have Lil Mar. Lil Mar, or Lamar Cruz, was a rapper and YouTuber born and raised in Seattle, Washington. He joined YouTube back in May of 2014 and has over 400,000 channel views. But in 2019, him and his friend were arrested after assaulting a girl in a Walmart parking lot. Now, there isn't much about this case because it's still ongoing, but Lamar is currently on house arrest awaiting his trial. If found guilty, there is a possibility of him serving jail time. Coming in at number 6, we have Premier. In this case, this YouTuber, dancer, rapper, actress, and singer didn't do anything against the law. She's under house arrest for her own safety. She posted a video on March 15th this year basically telling her audience that she's under house arrest because of the pandemic. Obviously, her mom is super worried for her safety, so Premier and her sister are both being homeschooled, and she said she could no longer go out to see friends. She was annoyed at this in the video, but later on she said that she agrees with her mom's decision in the video's description box. She then encouraged her fans to talk to their families about also staying inside. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Olivia Jade. I'm sure you all have heard by now the college admissions scandal surrounding YouTuber Olivia Jade, her sister, and her parents. Well, while this was going down and her family was under fire, the whole family kind of were under house arrest, mainly to avoid being out in public eye. So for several months, Olivia laid low, not really posting on social media, and certainly not posting on YouTube. Now, finally, she is slowly trying to make a return to YouTube. Moving on to number 4, we have JStation. Wow, 2020 has been a long year. Like, I totally forgot this scandal happened this year. So in January of 2020, Jason, aka I'm JStation on YouTube, uploaded a video titled "My Girlfriend Alexia Has Died, Rest in Paradise." Of course, this wasn't the case, and Jason had made this video as a ploy to pick up new followers for his second channel. He had planned to do a contact my girlfriend from the dead with a Ouija board video, which he did, but then he planned on resurrecting her. Again, all for views. But along the way, his plan failed and Alexia left him. She also filed a police report on him saying that he assaulted her. After police came to his place, he claims he wasn't allowed to leave or else he would have been arrested. So for a brief period of time, Jason was under house arrest. And at number 3, we have Steven Fernandez. Steven Fernandez, otherwise known as Even Steven Baby Scumbag, or Lil Cloud, got his fame for being a professional skateboarder. His YouTube channel often contained videos of him boarding. But in 2015, when Steven was only 15 years old, he got arrested after he was caught exploiting young girls. Basically, he was involved in getting girls to do certain acts with him and older men. In return, he promised them fame or meeting big celebrities, so he used his platform and his title as a YouTuber to manipulate young girls. Eventually, police caught him and the 2 men he had been running the scheme with. Since Steven was a minor, he was given an ankle tracker and house arrest in his mother's house. In our second spot, we have Austin Jones. On June 12, 2017, YouTuber Austin Jones was arrested for grooming young girls. Austin was known mainly for his music that he uploaded on YouTube. He had hundreds of thousands of followers and even toured around the world. But this all came crashing down when he was caught for having intimate conversations with young girls. He would ask them to do things like to take off their clothes and then dance for him. When he was arrested, he was given house arrest until his court hearing after being able to post a $100,000 bond. Then in 2019, after his court hearing, he was given permission again to remain under house arrest until going to prison a month later, which he remains until December 31st, 2027. And in our number 1 spot, we have Mona Lisa Perez. What started off as a daring stunt turned horribly wrong. In 2018, Perez's boyfriend asked her to shoot him while he held out a hardcover book in front of his chest. He believed that the book would stop the bullet. In fact, they tested the stunt out before with another book and it worked. So they both believed the stunt would be safe and then it would go viral. Sadly, this wasn't the case and the bullet went through the book and into his chest. He passed away on the way to the hospital. Perez was then charged with 6 months in prison after she pled guilty to second-degree manslaughter. She spent 90 days behind bars and then 90 days under under house arrest.